ticket, come find myself or one of the other people with an Entre shirt on, and we can get you a pass for the after party. I think we're all good. All right, Mark.
All right. Let me get, you guys hear me? All right. So let's get the connection up here. There we go. All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming out. Really appreciate you guys doing this. It's getting late. Been here for a couple hours, so I get it. Thank you. And also thanks to Ryan and Michael for letting me sponsor. We're a little bit early. We're in closed beta right now, so we're not even launched. But I called and said, can I please come out here and demo to this crowd? I'd really like to. So thank you for letting me do that. So I'll start the conversation off tonight just by talking about disruption in general. So this is my favorite talk I've ever seen about disruption. This gentleman, Tony Seba, was talking about clean energy and tech. And he put this slide up. I thought it was appropriate since we're in New York today. Can anybody see the car in there? Like thousands of years of horse and carriage, and there actually is one car. It's right there. What's significant about this is that 13 years later, it looked like this. So while all the industry insiders thought horse and carriage, thousands of years, 13 years later, it's completely flipped the question. So anybody see the horse? There actually is one horse in here as well. It's right here. So this is how we see the no-code community right now. It's just flipping the whole thing on its head. And it's going to happen way faster than anyone is expecting, especially software developers who are on the inside. You're not seeing the edge cases right now. The people who are outside of that are just recognizing the benefits of no code, and they're just taking advantage of that. That's what's about to happen right now. So this is actually called the theory of disruption, disruptive innovation, and it requires two things. One is you have to have an industry where that industry requires high cost, and the status quo basically means that it's not accessible, it's not simple, it's hard to do, right? So when I look at this, this is no code right here. The current status quo is current software development cycles. No code is applying that following principles. And it really works. So another way to put this is in the last decade, software ate the world. This is Mark Andreessen in 2011 from A16Z. And he was completely right. Software is going to eat the world. It did. Everything runs on code now. We see it as in the next decade, software is eating software. This is no-code tools that are writing software without you having to know how to code. And so I've been thinking about this for a very long time. And I want to walk you through what Bildr is, why we decided to go out and build it. So our origin, in 2006, we founded an agency. It was, I would expect it was the first no-code agency that ever existed. The idea for it came way before that. My dad was a software developer, and he worked in systems where you could drag and drop objects in the 80s. These objects were actually code, but it was very esoteric, very hard to do. You had to have about $250,000 for the hardware. It was on Lisp machines. So I had this in my head at a very early age. So when we started our agency, we said, instead of writing any hard code for our clients, what we're going to do instead is just build a platform, and all the delivery for the clients would happen with our design team. So only designers and only product people are actually delivering the solutions. We did that for 10 years, and we built hundreds and hundreds of applications with our tools. And it kind of got to a point where we were building really big systems. So we built a system, for instance, for a retailer in Australia. They have 150 locations. It's a full up and down, top to bottom, every single process in their whole stack, built completely without code. Took years to build it. And we realized 2 years into that, in 2017, we really need to get this tool out for everyone to use. Because now that you can do things like that without writing any code, what does that mean? You can do all kinds of stuff. So 2017, we started an endeavor to build Bildr as a product to launch. But like everything else we've done, instead of just doing it the easy way, we went and said, what if we could build Bildr with Bildr? So we could use the no-code tool to build the no-code tool. And yeah, so the first way you think about doing that is, let's use the old version that we had. But we didn't do that either. We said, no, we need to use the new version because the new version is actually scalable. It's built on top of Azure services. But how do you do that? It's sort of like the chicken and the egg problem in real life all the time. So we had to basically create a chicken, piece by piece, they could lay eggs. And that's what we did. It took us about 3 years. So now we're ready to launch, and now whenever I need a new feature, my design team goes and says, all right, let me just build that for you, and they just create it. And it's not just the community piece of Bildr or just this piece of Bildr, it's the entire thing. So when I'm doing my demo, you should keep that in mind, that everything you're seeing is built without code. So it's a no-code tool used by no-coders that creates no-code tools. Right? So I'll dive into a demo. Let's see. Jump out of here. All right. So this is Bildr. We're inside of a project already, so this is in the studio. I decided in December that I was going to do a little Trello clone to kind of test some things out and prove some things out. So this is that Trello clone. And in Bildr, you have an infinite canvas, so add as many pages, put them wherever you want. It's like artboards. Pages are sort of like components. So you can see like this page is nested within that page, this is nested within that page. By componentizing those pages like that, you get a ridiculous amount of power because everything is treated as a component. Everything is reusable across the system. So let's click on an item here, or a button here. Take a look at the styling. So Bildr is a full graphical design tool as well. It's building a web app. You don't have to know CSS to know how to do this. You don't have to use CSS, but if you do know CSS, you can also just drop in and write CSS if you prefer. And we kind of take that approach with everything. I'll show you in a minute how we do that with JavaScript. So if you don't know how to write JavaScript, great, just use an action. If you do know how to write JavaScript, you've got full access. You can go make your own actions, and those actions become reusable by others. We also like to do things like use property views versus all property views. So you kind of pick how you like to play, right? Pick the way that works best for you. You also get access to hover states, to all kinds of states, really anything you want. And then once you've gotten something to a place where you think this is a component that I want to reuse, you can create symbols out of those components and then reuse those and share them across projects and also share them with others. We did this a lot in our agency. Right, if you're running an agency, you're kind of building, you niche down typically, and you're selling to a lot of similar clients. You start from a lot of boilerplate. With Bildr, it's like no code, but then you also get the boilerplate. So you can start from there, start over a new project, keep going. So let's take a look real quick in the design library. So these are some symbols that are in here. You can manage them. You also get page templating. So if you've got a page that you like, you can template that. And we also include themes. So this, for anyone who knows CSS, is using CSS variables. If you don't know CSS, you don't have to know that. All you've got to do is come in and create your different themes. So this is dark mode, light mode, and high contrast for accessibility. What's great about that, it makes it really easy to do stuff like this. So I can say, let's view it in light mode, view it in dark mode. And it's just super easy to do because all you're doing is saying the background color comes from this theme instead of putting a static background color in there. So all this complexity of getting something like that to work typically in CSS, it's not easy to do. You have to know all the hoops that you need to jump through. You have to manage all that. We just take all that off of you. So that's themes. And let's talk about actions. So what happens whenever the user clicks this button? So on the actions of that button, on click, we're going to add an item. You can also do key codes, which allows you to do, somebody asked about, do you have hotkeys in your application? This allows you to create hotkeys for the thing you're creating. So if you have Control-J to do something, that's what you use to do that as a key code. If I open that action here, you can see when the user clicks, it's going to do these three things. So in this case, it's going to create a record, it's going to clear the item name, and then it's going to set the focus back into the item name. And I'll show you what that looks like real quick. But you can also do much more complicated things in here. An action inside of this could be, say, conditional logic. And you could say, if it's Tuesday, do this. If it's not Tuesday, don't do anything. And that sounds kind of trivial, but we've actually used that. Say you're running a promotion every Tuesday as Taco Tuesday or whatever it is. On Taco Tuesday, show the taco, otherwise don't do anything. And those conditions allow you to just do unbelievable things. So let's take a look at what this looks like when it's actually running. So there's a live view. It's not a preview. This is a fully functioning app as soon as you click it. So this is that application running. And this is the little page that we were modifying right here. Right, so add item. So I can say, item 2, add item, creates the record, sets it in there. Remember what it did too is it cleared the value, and then it reset the focus back in the field. So that way, combined with key codes, I can type it in, hit enter, type it in, hit enter, and just keep going. So with Bildr, you can build very modern UIs however you want, whatever you'd like to build. There's really no limit to it. Because you get the full styling capability mixed with the full actions capability, you can build anything. Let me jump back over to here. But there are limits to any platform, right? Anytime someone says you can do anything, the only way that that's possible is with extensibility. You can't actually create every possible action. And working with this tool for clients taught us very quickly that you can create whatever subset of things you want, but they're going to ask for something you haven't thought of yet. Or their users will ask them for something that you haven't thought of yet. So extensibility is built in. So if you get to a point where you're just stuck, can't do whatever it is, if you dive into the dev library, the developer library allows you to go in and actually manipulate the JavaScript that's executing. So if you know JavaScript, you can do this. If you don't, you can find someone who does. There are 11 million JavaScript developers in the world right now, and most of them will do side work. So you can add whatever you would like. So anyway, let's look at that set focus function. So I just open that up, go to the JavaScript, right? So they can just change that. The cool thing about Bildr, the way it works, when a developer puts a function in, they define it as inputs and outputs. And when they do that, that's what takes it and turns it into a black box that doesn't matter. All I care about as the no-coder is, if I give it this input, I'm going to get this output, right? So it just makes it that connection between developer and designer seamless. And we actually practice this, right? So when I need a new function, when me and my designers need a new function, we go to our developer team. We ask them for a new function. They don't go have to manipulate the core or any of that. They come in and make me a new function that does the thing, define it, and then now I get access to that and I can use it. And I can share it across projects. So one other thing in that live view, if I go back over here, I'm just going to change this to say add task instead of add item, right? So notice it just updates. Okay, so that's a technology that's built in that we call resonance. Resonance is all sessions that are running are going to update in real time. And that works for us, which is great for collaboration. You add collaborators, and if 3 of us in this room are working on the same project from anywhere in the world, we're seeing each other's changes in real time in the canvas. So it's really nice for collaboration. The other nice thing it's for is for your data. So if you have multiple users, say it's a chat app you're building, Resonance just automatically does that for you. So if they're both viewing the same board or whatever it is, like in this case, if we were both on there, you would see the updates and I would see the updates. So it makes doing really complicated things very, very easy. And the big thing here is we don't want you to ever get stuck. When you get stuck, you're not really stuck. You can always step out to a developer, because every project of consequence we've ever seen, you eventually get to that point. You get to that 95%, you've got your MVP, but now you realize the real world with your real customers requires something more. Okay, so let's circle back real quick. So we've added our elements, we style them, we go through and set the actions up, make them do a thing, and we're live viewing the whole time, testing it all out. Now it's time to publish it. We want to actually make this a real thing. So the publish process, by default, you come with 3 environments. You get development, test, and production. But you can actually add as many environments as you want. So for some of our clients, we would have pre-production, for instance, because they want a subset of their users on pre-production to test out all the new stuff before they put it to all the users. So we just give total freedom there. So let's say I'm going to go from development, and I want to publish it to test or production. You can publish it using our subdomains if you don't want to pay for a domain or don't have one yet, or you can just set up custom domains as well. And it's really straightforward, just single-click publishing. Inside of that publish also, you can roll back. You can also take snapshots. And again, we use this, right? We have to actually deploy with this. So when we do a release to production, we use that same button. And when I have to roll back because, oh crap, we missed something, we roll back with those same tools. And it creates a different sort of environment for us where, because we're eating our own dog food all the time, we know every problem that's about to hit before it hits. So it's really nice. All right, and that's the live demo. So if you guys want, get in touch. We are offering early access. Our wait list is getting fairly large now. We've got about 1,100 people on it now. Hopefully we'll get most of those off in February and March. That's our goal. But reach out, get you on the wait list, and get you in, see what you can build. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mark. I think we have some time for questions.
Cool.
If we have any here. I told this guy's going to go up first, right over here in the black.
What does debugging look like on something like this? Like
Yeah.
You're installing one of these actions from the marketplace,
Sure.
or just in general, something goes wrong.
Sure.
How do you like pull on the thread to find out
Yeah.
what part went wrong?
Yeah, I'm not quite ready to demo our debugger tools, but they're coming, and we have to do it, right? I mean, we have to step through these actions, and some of our action chains are ridiculous. They're 55 actions with switch conditional statements in there that do depend on this and do go to these things. Or, for instance, you're waiting on an API response call, right? Waiting on that response, it comes back. That's one thing I didn't actually mention there. Inside of the functions and inside of the action types and inside of the actions are waits and don't waits. So you can control exactly what needs to wait on what. It's very important. So debugging tools are coming, but not ready to demo it yet. Yeah.
Hi, yeah. So with actually just that last bit on like deploying, you mentioned pre-production.
Yeah.
So do you have like a full A/B testing or some level of A/B testing built into the product that you're able to do that?
I mean, not in terms of something that's called A/B testing, but we do some of that stuff, right? So you've got, because you have multiple environments and because you can deploy between them, there's no reason that you can't put a conditional statement in there that just says, if it's the odd second, go to that one. If it's the even second, go to that one, and get your A/B testing out of that in your test environment. But there's no designed thing inside of there called A/B testing. So, yeah. Oh. Oh. I think right here.
Sorry.
Yeah, just when do you think you're going to be live?
Yeah.
As opposed to early access?
Yeah. So it'll depend. We're letting people in, and we're working through usability, right? So where anybody gets stuck, that's where we're saying, okay, they're stuck here. They're not sure what to do next. They're having to make that phone call, or they're having to send that text message over to me. And so let's make that a little bit more usable. But we're basically there now. I mean, what we're doing right now is already there. It's enough to get you out. So next month, we're going to start letting in lots and lots of users. And that'll be, I would think we'll get through the 1,100 in just a few months. We're not going to hold that for a very long time. At least our intention is not to do that. So it should be pretty quick. Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, one right up here.
Is there ability to build plugins again for this as much as before?
Yeah. So we treat everything as a plugin. So every action, every element is a plugin. It's built internally that way. So when you go to the developer library and you're in there messing with the action types and the functions that I was showing you, that is the plugin. It's just that everything is a plugin. So you don't have to go through all of the rigor of dealing with the SDKs. When we actually do have developer docs, and we do have a whole bunch of helper functions if you want to go in there and use them, which if you're a JavaScript developer, I would highly recommend using because we give you access to all kinds of fun stuff inside the core. So there's basically a queuing mechanism happening. When those actions execute, our core takes the functions and executes them, it runs them. And so that core, by giving JavaScript developers access to that from the get-go, everything becomes a plugin by that. So there's no level of extensibility where you stop. Yeah, go ahead.
Then to follow on that, can we build plugins that we can share with many different users?
Yeah, all of them are shareable. Everything is shareable. So just like you can create a symbol out of an element there, literally everything in Bildr is shareable. A single function is shareable because it's all executing in the same way. And the core doesn't have a clue what you're trying to do. It just knows, okay, you've got this action, then this action, then this action. That's this function, then this function, then this function with the inputs and outputs, and it just runs through those. So by doing that, you basically have a JSON definition of that action and of that function, and that's just a piece of data that's now shareable. Right? Yep. Cool. Yep.
Like, how are you moderating quality control on all the plugins, and if anybody can make like a public? Like,
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so right now all the sharing will be peer-to-peer, right? So you're going to have to know the person, right? So you make it a public thing, and technically anybody can have that. But in the beginning, because of that exact problem, we're not going to just go open it up and anybody download this one, because quality control is a big deal. It's not just for the functions, it's also at the higher level, a project, or a set of page templates. And we want to make sure that there's quality in there. And that's the problem with like WordPress, for instance, right? You come across these massive amounts of plugins that are just junk, and you don't really know which ones are good and which ones are bad. So it's a problem we're going to have to face, and we'll have to solve it at some point. Peer-to-peer is a good way to start. All right.
All right.
Cool.
Thank you, Mark. Bildr.